So let's start standing. So the standing assessment, same old, same old. So Buddhists often say, can you keep that beginner's mind? Keeping a beginner's mind. What does that mean? It means that fresh look, curiosity. Walk around a little bit and just get a little sense of where are the chattiness or the creaks or the, there you are again places. And then I invite you to come to standing. And as you stand, if it feels safe, close your eyes and draw an outline of your body in space. So this is your proprioception and interoception. Where does your body meet the world? And is this mind chalk outline, does it look the same on both sides? And not only that, looking the same, is it a mirror image? So from left to right, right to left. But can you also get a sense of, if you're doing this outline from the side, does this outline droop forward? That would be the red light reflex, where the contraction, the tensions on the front are pulling everything together. Or is the tension on the back body? Or a combination. Most things are a combination, rarely all black and white. Is there more weight on one foot? Is there more weight on the toes and the toe mounts than there is on the heels? So we use our relationship with where we meet the world to give us some information and more awareness inward. Now come onto your back body. And as you come onto your back, if you can, lay with your legs straight. And then first just notice, does the chin pull away from the chest? In which case, please do go ahead and support your head with a pillow or a blanket so that the back of the neck doesn't feel congested, that the chin does orient slightly down towards the chest. Did you place yourself with your palms facing down or up? If facing up, that may signify a little bit more ease across the chest. If facing down, we know that might mean that the pec majors are tight, literally rolling the arm bone inward. So that's going to be our default position. So I invite you to now gauge how much of your body is touching the floor, somewhere between 20 and 80%. If only 20%, you are very tense. If 80%, super relaxed. And there are places that are not going to touch the floor. The back of the neck, the small of the back, unless you've had some really big surgery. Behind the knees and the Achilles tendons, probably not going to touch. But what about the back of the thighs? How much of a bend is there in the knees? And granted, the size of the tush is going to have some impact on that. But if the hip flexors are tight, it will pull the thighs up. Notice too if there is a rotational aspect. Does one leg roll out more than the other? Does one butt cheek lay a little flatter? What about the shoulder blades? Does one poke differently into the earth? So with this, I invite you to just assess, are you really comfortable? And that may mean you want to bend your knees. If the low back is uncomfortable, slide a blanket under your knees, because our next movement is not really a movement in the body, it's a movement in the mind. And that is one that's acutely is going to demonstrate to us where there are some blindness. Remember, we are working with the motor cortex when we do this work. The motor cortex sends out the signal for the muscle to contract, and then the loop goes back with the sensory nerve to the brain saying, we contract it, it's all good. But if this loop has gotten disrupted and the motor cortex no longer can see this part of your body, it's not going to send anything to fire. So those are the compensatory movement patterns that we're using. We start using a different loop. So right now, what we do with this one is to really look at, are my loops all intact? So I invite you to imagine that there is a marble right inside your right big toe. And you're going to begin to roll this marble or air bubble, an image that's pleasant to you, but slowly begin to roll it down through your inner foot, through the heel, up through the lower leg, the knee, the thigh. And as you arrive at the hip, you can negotiate traveling to the spine, connecting to the spine. So in your mind, you're rolling this little ball up your body. Now it's at the spine, you're gonna roll it up. It's a mind event. So you're sensing this ball rolling up. The lumbar spine, the thoracic spine, the neck, the cervical spine, all the way into the skull, to the top of the skull, and then you're going to reverse the orientation and travel back in the same manner. Slowly, deliberately, tracing this little marble or bubble down the spine, following it. Notice if it's jumpy or if you lose it in places, like you can't quite navigate it. As you come down to the sacrum, traveling in, Jen, you're gonna have to unmute yourself.
Same side. We're going up and down the same.
Yep, we are on the right side, thanks. So yeah, you're going down through the right leg again, so we are completing the right side, thank you. And so as you travel from the sacrum out to the right hip, down through the right thigh, knee, lower leg, into the heel, back through the foot to the big toe. Now pausing now, yes, we are going to go to the left, don't worry, but just notice if you were to draw a chalk line of your body now, right side, left side, has something changed in how you perceive your right side? All we did was just think about it. So move the marble to your left big toe. And we begin the journey again. Rolling it down through the foot, through the heel, up through the lower leg, the thigh, the hip, and negotiating, connecting over to your sacrum, to the spine. And then rolling the marble up, vertebra by vertebra. 24 to be exact. 5 lumbar, 12 thoracic, 7 cervical. And at the very top of the cervical, the neck, it rolls into the skull, to the top. And then reversing this. Rolling it back down. Let this be as easy as you can. So don't struggle. Let go of struggle. There's no test to pass, nothing to prove. You are just experiencing, becoming aware as you draw down through the sacrum to the left hip, down through the thigh, knee, lower leg, heel, foot, and big toe. Now sensing the whole left side. So our mobility as much originates in the brain as in the body. So again, rehabilitating this loop facilitates healthy and full mobility. Now move the marble to your right middle finger. Rolling it down the finger, through the palm of the hand, the lower arm, elbow, shoulder. And connecting the shoulder joint to the spine. How do you connect in your mind? And then rolling it back to the shoulder joint. Down through the arm, the elbow, the lower arm, the wrist, palm, middle finger. And just pause and notice how the right arm and shoulder feels compared to your left arm and shoulder. And now, from your left middle finger, rolling down through the finger, through the palm, the lower arm, elbow, shoulder, and connecting the shoulder to the spine. How does it connect? And then from the spine, back out to the shoulder, down through the upper arm, through the elbow, lower arm, wrist, palm, and middle finger. sensing now your left arm. And then in your mind, can go back to the right arm. Was anything different from right to left? Same thing with the legs. Were there areas that just felt unavailable to your mind, where you've divorced yourself from that part of your body? So now you're going to come over onto your right side. And you're going to bend the knees up to 90-90. And as you lay on the right side, supporting the head with pillows or a blanket where it's comfortable, so you can, so I should say this, but not your right arm. That needs to be out in front, and that will become evident. So, but have the head supported so that it is comfortable. And if you are on one blanket, because we're going to be turning the head, so you might want to go with a long blanket rather than a folded. Yes, long, the hot dog fold, but you may need two. You're going to take your left hand onto your forehead. It's like, oh dear, oh dear. And so now this is your engine. Your right arm is just out in front. You're going to use your left hand to gently turn your head. So you're guiding it. Don't force. When you don't go any further, the left hand just gently guides the head back. So you're just going to go back and forth. So the neck muscles are completely passive. And move slow, letting the head turn. So keeping it just as a neck turn. Back and forth. So the hand is pushing gently, or it is, as you say, the engine. So notice if you are trying to use the neck to push the hand, let the head be completely passive. And letting this movement be easy, easy, so easy, so easy. So if there's anything hard about the movement, back off. How can you make this movement easier? Maybe it's not moving so far. I saw a private student today, and he was very honest. He said, honestly, I spent 50 years working hard, working to the pain, through the pain, beating myself up. I don't understand what you mean. Because he is completely divorced from his body. It's like, you beat me up. I have no part of this. So that is what happens. We turn off the light through the various places. But right now we turn them back on again through this work. We are reconnecting. So next time you come back to center, just rest your left hand in front, wherever it's comfortable. And then sliding your left hip, slide it back. So your knees are going to shear, and then you slide it forward. It's not a big movement. Slide the hip back. The top hip slides back, and then you take it back to where it was. So when we do, this is the same movement we do when we do the hip press, when we're on our back. So keep the legs straight. The knees are just shearing. The knees are shearing. So you're just sliding the knee back on the top leg. Go back, Sally. So keep the knees bent. Both knees stay bent. And slide the hip to the space behind you. Back towards your chair. Keep the legs together, so it's a sliding action, and then back. So it's not a big movement. Just getting that little slidey going. The hip moves back, and then it goes back to where it was. Notice that movement. Make it easy. Make it easy. Now, another word, the terminology that the teacher used was, it didn't really resonate with me, but it may resonate with you. He said, make it joyful. I'm like, what does that mean? So make it easy, make it joyful. As if you are enjoying this movement, not a chore, not a challenge, it's just enjoyable. So now letting that go, we're going to take the hand back on the head. And we return to turning the head with the hand, but now let your knee slide too. And is there more movement available? So now we have just incorporated a little bit more. Letting the hand guide the head, remember, the head is passive, completely passive. The weight of the hand pulls it around and then gently pushes it back. Make it easy. What is hard about this movement? What feels like it's not available? So we back off, back off, back off. And sometimes literally that is by imagining the movement. If it's not available, we are still doing the movement in the motor cortex, just like we did when we rolled the marble across our body. That still helps educate the body. And the next time you come back, rolling onto your back, rolling onto your back. And pause. Tuggling your awareness from the right side as you begin drawing that chalk outline, the left side. What's different? And that can be really hard to put into words. Does one leg feel longer? So it changes how the body how the mind sees the body, how we use it. So now let's come on to the left side. Again, take the legs up 90-90. And taking care that your spine is straight so that you're not curling the head forward, so that your gaze is also your nose and your belly button is aiming in the same direction. And then take your right hand to the forehead, elbows to the sky, and take it away. Guiding the head back, so rotation. Notice this side. How does that feel? As you go back and forth. Without force, but with easiness. Is that a word? Easiness. With ease. Make it easy. When we force a movement, we are pushing against a current. Something in the body is moving in the opposite direction, and we're pushing into it. That in turn causes the body to anchor itself so that these opposing forces become even more established. So that's why we are backing off and rewinding where we are, not jumping ahead. So it's easy. Very easy. And then next time you come to center, you just rest your arm in front. And then the hip slide. The right hip slides back. So you, again, move slowly so that you can move with awareness. Making the movement smaller does not make it any lesser. So again, slide the hip back. So back. Keep the knees together so that with the knees there's a shearing as the hips move back so that the pelvis rotates a little bit. You come more onto your tush. But keep both the knees at a 90 degrees. So Agnes, I'm looking at your knees. So slide the hips straight back behind you so that there's a little pelvic shift back. But the legs stay exactly where they are. So it's not the lower leg that slides, it's the knees that slide. So my demonstration, the thighs that are sliding. So my demonstration may have been misleading. Like that, yes. What muscle does that? What is the body? How does it get the message from the brain to move the hip back? And does this side, did that fire in the same way as the other side fired? Is it easier or is it harder? So this is part study, part being, part study, and part doing. And let's put these two back together. So we'll put the head on the forehead. And then start the head and add the hip slide. So as the head turns and the shoulder draws back and the hip follows back, how does that facilitate movement? So even though we often talk about the body as a shoulder, a lumbar spine, a hip, they don't move in a vacuum. They have to have good neighbors so that these neighbors are willing to dance along with that intended movement. That just provides us with better mobility because there's no current that we have to fight against. So as you slide, the head turns because of the hand. Lifting up, turning. And then just pause. Next time you come back to center, we're going to add an element on this side. And this is one thing that they do in Feldenkrais. They sort of layer things in. It sometimes feels like, wait, did we do that on both sides? So you're going to continue to do what you're doing. Head is being moved by the hand, hips sliding back. But now you're going to begin to lift up your top knee. So you are going to be standing that leg up. Maybe place the foot behind the heel. So the knee will lift up, and that's going to give you even more hip slide. How far it goes? Well, that's how far it goes. But as you stand that knee up, begin to lift it up. Now we're incorporating more and more into this movement. Lifting and turning the head, hip slides back, knee is pulled up as if on a lever. So you now roll further and further onto your back. The knee, they will shear as you lift up. So yes, let your body, thank you, Sally, let your body just go as it goes. So, and if this is irritating, the one that we did prior with the thigh shearing but not lifting, do that instead. That's also okay. So sometimes we pause and work at a certain state in our mobility retraining. Now, next time, you're going to roll all the way onto your back. And feel. What's different? What neurotransmitter connection did you just facilitate on this side that right now feels like they're a little dim on the other side? So turning onto the other side. And as you come onto your first side, rolling over onto your side. And we start it again, knees are 90-90, so just check that they are all the way up. That gives us that shear. And again, the head is completely on vacation. So your left hand on top of the head. We begin again just with the head. So the key is to not be in a hurry. Trust that just by repetition, change will happen through the re-education. You will be undivorced. That's not even a word, is it? You'll be married again. That is the word for undivorced. Letting the hips begin to slide back. And then beginning to add the leg into the stand-up position. So you begin to lift the left knee upward. So we get even more hip rotation to the floor behind us. The pelvis begins to drop back as well. Knee comes up, you may be standing the knee up. And again, if this causes discomfort, if there is pain, back off, go back to the place where you were moving without discomfort. Pain again, something is an opposing force. And then next time you roll towards your back, just allow yourself to roll all the way or onto your back. Pause. And then from here, gently roll over onto one side and sit up. How are you doing? So I didn't notice anything immediately after I did this sequence, but when I started walking around, I'm like, whoa, hello, hello. So, so we're gonna add a little bit more to that tonight. This is for the eye and the neck connection. We use, instead of using the muscle of our eyes to turn our heads, a lot of times we turn the whole bit. So then in our mind, again, our eyes and our neck becomes fused as one unit. So we're going to use this to see if we can create a little bit of space between. So you'll sit. I'll scoot back here. So sitting with your legs, let's swing the legs to the left. So I'm resting on my right hand, and I'm going to just take my left hand onto my right shoulder. This is an easy seat. And then I'm just going to twist back and forth to the right. Letting your hip follow you, which should be, I hope, pretty easy after the work we just did. Let the head turn, everything just goes back and forth. Let's do that one more time. And switch. Nope, sorry, wait, I take that back. So stay where you are. So we were in the rotation. Now I'm going to turn the head and look over the shoulder, but I'm in the position. Now I'm going to derotate and turn the head back. So it's like my torso is going one way, but my head is going the other. So it feels a little awkward. So from being in the twist, turn the head and look over. When you take the trunk out of the twist, look back over the shoulder. So reversing. Before we let everything go along in the same ride, but now you're breaking it up. So that takes a little bit more effort. At least it does for me. You're feeling it on the side? Uh-huh. I can't wait for the Q&A after this class. And then next time you come back to center, let's switch to the other side. So switching the legs, if you can see me here, so that my left foot is against my right knee and the right leg is just back. Again, I take my hand back and just, again, make it easy. How easy can you make this? Go in and out. What body part seems to be stopping you or anchoring you as you move in and out of the twist? Now, next time you draw in, pause, and then turn. So you're in the full twist. Now turn and look back over your right shoulder, but keep your hand on your shoulder. Keep the hand up on your shoulder, sorry. And then now reverse. So as you come out of the twist, you look over your left shoulder as if you were going into the twist. So now the trunk and the head are twisting oppositely. Is it easier or harder on this side? Your body is your playground. So is it a good playground, or is it all sharp, hard places? Coming back to neutral, we're going to switch back to the other side. So first side again, keeping the hand up on the opposite shoulder. I'll mirror. So we're going to go in and out. So 5 times, just in and out. We're going to make it easy and enjoyable. Easy and enjoyable. Once you get in on the 5th time, you're going to stay in the twist on the 5th time. Now you're just going to turn the head back and forth, just the head. Five head turns. Doing a lot for the neck tonight. And then after the 5th, let's come out and switch to the other side. So again, hand on the shoulder. And take it away 5 times. And after the 5th, then it's just the head. After the 5th time, come back to center. Back to the first side again. After the 5th one. So I'm not rushing you. Oh wait. Sorry. Finish up. Finish up. So we started very big, made it a little bit smaller. Now we're going to make it smaller yet. So here you'll take your hand to the shoulder again. You're going to rotate all the way into the twist, head and everything, but now just your eyes, back and forth, moving the eyes. So I'm going all the way into the twist to the right side. Easy twist, right? But now just the eye stretches from side to side, but you're keeping the head in the twist. Stretch the eyes from side to side. After the 5th, we're going to come back to neutral. And switch to the other side. Twist all the way in. So now notice here as you do this, as you draw the eyes from side to side, so you're fully in the twist, now it's just your eyes sweeping right to left, left to right. Does that cause your neck muscles to get a little jittery? And that is telltale about they have come fused as one unit and not moving independently. So after the 5th time, and this happens especially if we wear glasses, because we can only see out through a certain part, so we stop really using the muscles of our eyes. And when we don't use the muscle of our eyes, what has to do it instead? And I'm just giving you a lot of things to think about. Let's stand up and just bookend it, walking about. Now, I did not do this in the beginning, so note to self, I will do this next time. But as you stand, turn and look behind you. How does your body rotate? So that's what we were working on tonight. Freeing up everything so that we have this mobility around. Notice your feet on the floor as you twist. Notice how the weight is in your body. So I'm going to stop the recording.